What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another late night in the BrewLab with me, Lone Fox, your Brew Master in Chief. And tonight in the BrewLab, I'm coming at you with a old classic and favorite of mine. And the reason why is because I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel here, guys. You've heard me say it now for the last few nights in a row. I really hope that they come at us with this standard 2023 play queue in the next couple of weeks, so that we can have that little micro meta to have fun in before the new set arrives, because it's starting to get really hard to come up with new and interesting things. I still have a few things lined up though, so don't lose don't lose heart. The fresh brews are still going to be coming your way, but whenever I feel a little bit stuck, having a little bit of creative block for the day, and I can't come up with something super fresh and funky, then I'm going to take this opportunity to sort of fall back on something that I'm a little bit more comfortable with, that I've played before, and trying to find ways to either change it, upgrade it, improve it, and then discuss, how it is and why. So we're looking at Orzhov Vampires, and the last time that I put up an Orzhov Vampire list, it was called Domination, because it was leaning quite heavily on Henrika Domnathi. I'll leave a link to that brew in the description for you guys to go check out. It was actually really good and one of my favorites at the time. And what I felt during that period was that one of the strongest vampires, in my opinion, Edgar Markov himself, was criminally underplayed. It made a bit of a splash in some sort of like mid-rangey Orzhov piles. There would be like a 1 or a 2 of alongside, and then once the Wandering Emperor came out, it just kind of disappeared entirely. But it was like alongside Edgar, beg your pardon, Sorin, etc. This time I wanted to really like put this full spotlight on Edgar and make the entire deck around him. And so, without further ado, let's jump into tonight's brew. I'm calling it Charmed, I'm sure. And as I prefaced, we have a full playset of Edgar Charmed Groom here as the sort of centerpiece of the deck. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. By the way, just before I jump into it, also something to point out. This is almost 100% rotation proof. The only cards that will not be around after rotation are these. Infernal Grasp will be. It's the Fracture and the Westgate Regent. And the Pathway. And the creature lands. Okay, so everything on this side, that way, is rotation proof. So I'm trying my best to sort of either make it rotation proof, or I'll let you know some alternatives at the end. So we start off obviously with Bloodchief's Thirst. This is going to be a real problem when it rotates out. Like, I honestly don't know what I'm going to replace this card with. It's so damn good. I'm hoping that they'll bring us something new in the next set that'll kind of make up for this when it leaves, because it's just been such a pivotal part of any sort of early game removal plan. Then we've got March of Otherworldly Light and March of Wretched Sorrow. Some exile. Also loving the fact that I only need to run like one Field of Ruin, because this just deals with creature lands for 1 mana, instant speed, exiled, bye. So yeah, really nice. A little bit of early game, potentially exile, and scales into the late game. And these cards are just, I actually love them all, except for the green one. They're all just super good, and getting better and better as people learn how to best use them. This cost reduction on them can come in clutch so many times. But yeah, this one is great. Creatures, Planeswalkers, also gains you life. Amazing. Then we've got Infernal Grasp, a little bit of instant speed removal, alongside these two. If we need, if we don't have one or whatever, this is just a nice little alternative. Then Fracture. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or planeswalker. I'm still just so surprised that this doesn't see more play. You occasionally bump into it in some Orzhov or the occasional Esper deck. I guess people will just rather run Vanishing Verse and just reckon they can cover all of those types as well. But there's some enchantments that are multicolored as well as planeswalkers. So I don't know. Vanishing Verse is slowly but surely petering off. Even I in this deck have Edgar and the Markov Purifier that cannot be hit by it. And there'll be things with Vigilance now all over the place. People are getting wise to Vanishing Verse. And our response to that is Rite of Oblivion, which does not have the downside of having to target single-colored permanents. This just can exile any non-land permanent. The only downside is its sorcery speed compared to the instant speed of Vanishing Verse. But then this you also get to flashback, so having 4 of them in the deck essentially means you get 8 of these effects, which is amazing. And we're going to have this constant flow, hopefully, of these little 1/1 vampires off of the Edgar that we can sacrifice to the Rite of Oblivion. So that's my thinking, why we've gone for this full playset here. I did initially have Wedding Invitation in the list instead of the Purifier. Let's see. We might end up going with a 2-2 split at some point. But I was finding that when I had the Wedding Invitations flipped and giving all of my creatures Anthem effects, then nothing entering the battlefield was triggering the Welcoming Vampire anymore, and I was losing my draw engine, whereas the Markov Purifier can draw you cards, regardless. And it's also a vampire instead of the little 1/1s that the Wedding Invitation poops out are humans. The vampires get buffed by Edgar, so I don't know. At the moment I'm just preferring the Purifier. Then we've got, of course, a full playset of the Meathook Massacre. Of course, again, there was 4 in last night's brew. Then we've got our card draw engine, or one of them, the Welcoming Vampire. Whenever one or more other creatures with power 2 or less enter the battlefield under your control, you draw a card. So pretty much everything other than the Westgate Regent will draw us a card. The Markov Purifier is a 2/3. The Henrika is a 1/3. The little 1/1s that Edgar poops out are 1/1s, as well as the 2/3 from Sorin. So pretty much everything entering the battlefield will be triggering the Welcoming Vampire, drawing us some cards. And then the Markov Purifier, if you've gained life this turn, you may pay 2 colorless if you do draw a card. So nice little bit of card draw here, kind of focusing all of our card draw on the 3-drop slot. But there is a little bit going on here as well in the 4-drop slot. The second mode on Henrika, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Can also draw your card, as well as the +1 on Sorin. You may put the card that you reveal into your hand. Sometimes you just can't because it will deal you too much damage, but that's another way of a little bit of card advantage. So overall, not bad at all. But then the centerpiece of the deck, we really want to have Edgar like on turn 4 every single game, right? Because it's actually just such a strong card, and I really like the design. It dies, it becomes this coffin, and then the coffin spawns these little 1/1s for 3 turns until eventually it comes back onto the battlefield and buffs all of the 1/1s that it made into 2/2s, and you can do this huge life swing, but then you'd be swinging in, when it just comes back, you'd swing in for 10 damage, and 6 of that would be lifelink. Amazing. And if you can have multiples in hand, it's not a problem, because you play the 1. The legendary rule means that the 1 of them would die. When it dies, it just becomes the coffin, and now you've got them sort of rotating. The minute the coffin flips into Edgar, hits the battlefield, legendary rule again. Edgar, you pick one of them, becomes the coffin, and they just can sort of keep rotating like that, and you just have this constant flow of little 1/1s that, of course, will always be 2/2s as long as you have one of the Charmed Grooms on the battlefield. So that's kind of what we're trying to go for tonight, is just like overwhelm the opponent with this Edgar that just never goes away. And if they kill it and they manage to also get rid of the artifact, we've got 4 copies. We're just going to keep trying to overwhelm them with this. And the cool thing is we can also often sweep our own board quite happily, because then at least we are left with the coffin that's going to keep spawning these 1/1s, and the opponent's left with nothing. So quite nice. Also, because of the buff, some of our guys will end up having like 4 toughness. The Westgate Regent can get quite big as well. Henrika Domnathi, if you've got a Edgar in play, it becomes a 4/5 lifelink. Really nice against Boros. So often we can do a one-sided Meathook Massacre, because you do just like an X's3, you snag a lot of the other threats in the format, and your vampires will survive. So quite nice. And then here at the top end, we've got 2 copies of the Westgate Regent. It's just so good. Usually you play it on turn 5, turn 6. At that point, the opponent's hand tends to be a little bit thin. They've also been just deploying threats and doing things, and therefore the ward discarded card just becomes really, really hard to get around. Oftentimes, it's the opponent gets to that point where they have like their big bomb that they're waiting to cast and like one removal spell or something. They can't get rid of the Regent because then they'll have to discard their bomb, and it just makes it a little bit tougher to get rid of. And as long as it sort of sits on the battlefield for 1 or 2 turns, it gets out of hand really quickly. Especially if you have Edgar in play, it'll be a 5/5 when it attacks, so it'll do 5 damage, which means it'll get 5 +1/+1 counters. Instead of the usual 4 that it would get, and it gets really big really quick. And that's the deck. Really old school, like no new cards in the deck. Just comfortable, relaxing, old school Orzhov vamps. And I've even whipped out my Orzhov sleeves for the occasion. You guys know I love me some Orzhov. We've got 1 Cave, 1 Hive. We've got 1 Eiganjo, 1 Takenuma, 1 Voldaren Estate, because those blood tokens can be pretty nice sometimes. And 1 Field of Ruin to get rid of opponents' creature lands. And then the rest are just fuels and basics as always. That's the deck. Let's jump into some games. Been playtesting some aggro enchantments. It's sort of a newcomer-ish to the format. They basically scratch the Hallowed Haunting entirely, and it's going for a much more aggro plan. It's like 20 lands. I've copied the one off of Untapped, and I'm just like making some BrewLabifications. Might have to have a look at that in the next couple of days. Really hoping for that land. And that's terrible. There's just nothing worse than bricking. Like, just nothing. Ooh, interesting. Boros Reanimator. Whew. I was worried there for a moment. Okay. I was expecting him to discard Dragon. Yeah, it's definitely just not getting any cards here. Yep, I knew it. Okay, we might as well just concede now. Here comes the... Okay, whew. Didn't have it, but still. We're gonna lose. We didn't get enough lands. Yeah, okay. Next! Game 1 like that does not feel good. There's not much you can do when you brick out so gnarly. Shake it off. Get up. Go again. What is wrong with my hands lately? Just terrible, terrible, terrible. Wow, it feels like it's every other match is Boros these days. Bye. I was dreading the Raiju there. While you're at it. Sure. If he comes at me with the Raiju, I can at least block, gain some life, and then massacre the lot. Yes, not really, actually. Okay. Star. We've got Field of Ruin if he gets a Den of the Bug there. Okay. Watch him get the Raiju now. Huh. Yeah. Ooh. That's nice. Very nice. Very nice. Oh, so nice. Watch him scoop. Oh, the Boros player ran out of gas. Okay. Let's rise to the top. Woo! Oh, baby. Oh, baby. I think that's gonna be the game. Uh-oh. Is that 2 spells? Oh my lord. You have no idea how ridiculous that is. I cannot believe that that just happened. He did it once for whatever reason. Oh, he needed 1 mana shy. Good game. Whew. Whew. If he'd had 1 more mana, He could have done the double payment on the adversary, and that would have been just the worst way to lose that game. Whew. Nice. Very nice. I kind of was hoping to prey on plenty of Boros with this deck tonight. Just got to get past their initial onslaught, and then you should be okay. Mr. Dove. What's going on, mate? Let's do this. That is not a very nice hand. Very slow. Every other game. I told you guys. I mean, it's quite insane. I haven't seen it like a deck break out so much like this in a while. Henrika is going to be good though, hopefully. I think I'm just going to transform her straight away. Another land would be amazing as well. Yes. Probably got to play with fire, but I'm gonna. Ooh. Ooh. The 4 toughness is great against this deck. Really? Alright, we're doing really good. The question here is... Yeah, I think we probably put down another vampire, or do we go for Mr. Sorin?
Consider yourself fortunate, Arlo.
That's third Meathook. Okay. If I'm gonna Meathook anyway, might as well take less damage. I should have double blocked the initiate. That was a massive misplay.
Dire times call for dire tactics.
So, pretty heavy to throw away 2 Meathooks like that, but I think 1 will be enough to sort of do the trick. Woo, baby. I'm talking about.
Blood for knowledge. A fair trade.
It's not really worth it swinging in with a den like that.
Fight! I'll fix that.
Yes! Finally!
My
Oh.
ways are not for the weak.
Yes. Yes.
Balance may never be restored now.
We should be good. Good game. Oh, you gotta love it. Beating Boros twice in a row just feels pretty damn good. Not gonna lie. Amazing. Sometimes, you know, you don't need to come up with a fresh, amazing brew. There's still plenty of amazing stuff that didn't see enough play, that just got swept up in the hype. The Crimson Bow Vampires, which the majority of this deck is made of, are top-notch, in my opinion. The Watcher Prime. Couple Purifiers. Draw a land. Play an Edgar. Remove something. Could be worse. Could be lots worse. Oh. Oh. You see the snow swamp, it means blood on the snow, and that's not good. But Edgar is quite happy about that. is quite clearly a Deadly Dispute. I don't know if that was such a good idea, but at least he can't Deadly Dispute. It's becoming sort of my new... It's like... You know, yes, I did waste a removal spell. We do have 4 Meathooks. There's probably not going to be too many targets for it in this deck. Be mostly Planeswalkers and things. So if you can stop him from getting a Deadly Dispute... and the ramp and everything that entails, then... maybe it's the way to go. Let me know what you think. Still no lands. Having real trouble curving for whatever reason. Might have something like village rights. Not making land drops is woo-hoo-hoo. Fun, fun, fun. Talk number 2. At least they're not making lands either. This is just starting to get a little bit ridiculous. Are you kidding me? What kind of nonsense? And it's a tap land. Woo! My lordy lord. The 3rd Nighthawk Scavenger back to back. Flabbergasted. Double underdog. We are still bricking. Hmm. What a weird match. At least the mana's been even. Had I said anything? Okay. Hmm. Oh, you disgusting human being. Oh Lord, help me. We are never gonna win this. Mono Black is so good right now. Just, I'm like, this card just makes the whole deck.
For the sake of all Innistrad, my will must be. You will serve me well.
Ready for another invoke? No? Maybe? Think as much as you like, my dear fellow. I am going nowhere.
I won't let this be over.
Cool. Also okay. I guess. Another invoke
Violence
just
is
gets us
necessary
here.
to set things right.
That's it.
Blood for knowledge. A fair trade.
What a card. What a card. He's 1 mana away, fortunately. We may be able to just, I don't know, gain some life. Dispute. Wow, Mono Black is so good. Just so good. So we gain 3, 4 life.
Stay your hand.
The temptation to cast the invoke or just to go for the Meathook. I mean for the mascot exhibition. Must be quite... Okay. He's got another one. He could cast it. God, that would be just hilarious. What a card. Single-handedly, just like top end of a mono blacklist. You don't even need to bother playing anything other than 4 Invoke Despairs. It's that strong.
My ways are not.
Although if he doesn't come up with something, we win. So there's that. Edgar will flip. What? Suicide? We got him. I can't believe it. He tried for the second, he was hoping to draw another Invoke Despair. He had the mana and everything, and then he didn't get it. And that's why I said the temptation. He probably should have gone for the mascot exhibition instead. Yes. Down to the wire. Next turn, the coffin would have turned into Edgar again. These guys will get the buff, and then this becomes a 9/9. Woo! Whew. Good one. Nice one. And that kind of wraps things up. We've arrived at the 45-minute mark. I don't have time for more. But I think the key takeaway from tonight was the 2 wins against Boros aggro, which is, a clear menace in the meta. So if you want to get some, if you want to play something that's going to be quite kind to your card collection, because it's mostly old cards, that's fun and tribal and strong against Boros, then tonight's brew was the brew for you. But that's going to be it for tonight's gameplay footage. Going back into the deck with my final thoughts, I don't think I'd change a thing. Perhaps there were a few times there when I thought the Wedding Invitation would have been really good. I don't have to do this. I would love to hear your thoughts. Like, it's not a huge change, but it could be pretty significant. Just to have more things to sack to the Rite of Oblivion. We didn't often enough have the 1/1 little tokens from Edgar to sacrifice to the Rite of Oblivion, and I often had to. You saw that game where I was forced to sacrifice a Meathook Massacre to the Rite of Oblivion, and then also Welcoming Vampire. It's obviously sub-optimal. Of course, Edgar is a great thing to sack, because then it just, turns into the coffin. But, let let me know what you think. But otherwise, leave it exactly as it is. Loving the list. Yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow with some fresh brews. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Of course, if you could join the Discord community, that would be fantastic. I'd love to have you guys over there. It's slowly starting to grow, and it's just a nice bunch of guys hanging out, talking shop, posting deck ideas, getting help from each other. It's been really nice as a resource as well for me, and hopefully for my friends who are now on there. So come on, join. But yeah, once again, that's going to be it for today. I'll see you all tomorrow, and until then, this is Lone Fox from the BrewLab, signing out. Peace, y'all.